are back, ladies and gentlemen, with not one, but two Bobs.
Double trouble.
Two Bobs for the price of one, ladies and gentlemen. Today only. So, of course,
It's incredible.
both of you guys have been on the show before. Bob has been brought back from the audience's rave reviews, of course.
It's a lot of bullshit going on here, folks. Yeah.
And what you guys may not know is we have the Warriors game on, and it just didn't start very well. And we're not counting them out yet, but we're not far away from it either.
That's a bingo.
Yes, definitely.
So you guys, the season is about to start up.
End of the month.
It's going to heat up here pretty soon. What can we tell the people about what's going to happen pretty soon?
Well, Giants were hoping to have a better year than last year. A's are probably going to have the same as last year, if not worse. They just, I don't have much faith over there for them to win a lot of games. But I'm hoping the Giants, with a couple of free agent signings, and they need pitching. They need to sign Snell or Montgomery or somebody to help the pitching. They got like 4 guys that are hurt already. One's got an aneurysm in his arm, and somebody else has whatever. Cobb is out. This guy, Robbie Ray, they're trying to turn a reliever into a starter. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think they got a shot at Snell.
Yeah.
Because that's what they need. And I think the last couple of weeks they've improved their team with Chapman and the gentleman they got from Miami, I believe.
Solar. Yeah.
Solar.
Yeah.
But then again, their division has garnered another team that they have to respect now, Arizona. Previous to last year, it was just Padres and Dodgers. Now there's three of them.
Yeah, it's
Colorado is kind of an afterthought.
hard division, kind of like the Niners in the NFC West.
Right.
If you don't count the Cardinals.
Right.
But like the NFC West has kind of always been a hard division, and now with the Giants, it's not just the Dodgers anymore.
No.
But it is. I mean, every year, you hope to see the A's just take off, just win a bunch of games, but it never happens.
Not lately. No.
Well, they don't sign any of their players. I mean,
Right.
Their vision for talent is up there with the best. I mean, the players they've had that have come through that franchise are unbelievable. I mean, you look at the two corners. They had Olsen. Mm-hmm. They had Chapman. They had, what's his name, from Berkeley at second base, plays shortstop.
Semien
Played shortstop for the A's. I mean, with the exception of second base, between Olsen, Semien at short, Chapman, catcher. What's his name? I can't. This. He went to the Braves.
The Brewers. Did he go to the Brewers? I think he went to the Brewers.
Who's the catcher who they had? A really good catcher.
Yeah.
He was the best defensive catcher. I think he went to the Braves. Anyway, they had an all-star infield with the exception of second base. They don't sign their players.
Do you think eventually? I mean, this Moneyball thing, obviously, it's not working out now.
Not anymore.
No.
So when is that going to change? Is it going to change?
Well, the problem is the revenue sharing. All the teams give money to the A's, and the money is supposed to be put into their system, into their team, and it's not. It's going into Fisher's pocket. So no money is putting into the team to try and improve it. And that's part of the problem. It's a big part of the problem.
It's a big part of the problem because, as you just said, I thought that it was reported that was stopping, that they weren't going to get their money anymore. But then you read that they are. They're still getting money. Mm-hmm. That money was created for the purpose of small market teams being able to reflect parity and compete with the big market teams.
The Yankees.
And Fisher's taking the money and putting it in his own pocket and not signing the players.
So let's talk about that, because I think that there's a lot of people that don't know don't know what we're talking about that because they think pretty much every team gets the same amount or gets whatever. So the larger market teams pool the money, pool a certain portion, send it to the small market teams, right? And so how long has that been going on?
Quite a while, and like I said, I thought they had stopped it, but apparently they haven't.
And is that something that they kind of took advantage of with the Moneyball?
Yes.
That kind of
I don't know
strategy?
about with Moneyball at the beginning, but now it's blatant. I mean, you had Olson, who's, led the majors in home runs and RBIs. Didn't sign him. They had Chapman. Didn't sign him. They had Semien, who wanted to stay here. He went to high school in Berkeley, went to college in Berkeley. His family wanted to stay here. They made an insulting offer to Semien. And I mean, all with all due respect, they've all done very, very well financially, those three players. But there's many, many more. The catcher we were referring to was Murphy.
Oh, Murphy.
Yeah, really good. Kana.
Well, Canuck.
Yeah, all of them.
Yeah.
They any player that's worth, comes up for contract, they're gone. They don't sign them.
What do you think solves that, though? What do you think fixes that?
Sell the team.
You have to sell the team.
Yeah, you get a new owner.
That's the only thing that's going to change it. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that a gentleman of his age, with his wealth, would want to just go, hey, who needs all this negative press? But you know what he likes? He's making money.
Yeah.
He likes making that extra money.
So Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's not like he needs the money. The A's are it's like a toy. It's like a kid with a new train set that has to have it,
It's the ultimate toy for, for a grown-up owning a sports franchise. My gosh.
But so why aren't the fans doing any? Because what I remember when the Niners were taking a shit. And this is when, Trent Baalke was the GM and all these fans were flying the planes with the banners around the stadium saying, Jed York, sell the team.
Yeah.
Jed York, you're terrible. And I remember there was these girls that brought in a big, huge stuffed penis that was just read Jed York on it. And bless their hearts. But, I don't see that at all with the A's. I don't see the fans getting that pissed.
Well, the
at
fans
least
just
publicly.
don't.
Well, I mean, I have to just respectfully disagree with you on that
Please
one,
do.
Boss. They had that protest last year. They drew 27,000 people. That's
right.
Stay. We want you to, sell the team, but stay. And apparently something's amiss for opening day,
Right.
where they're going to come in and tailgate, but they're not going to go into the stadium. And be very interesting to see how that affects our business. So far to this point, we're still doing good in Oakland. Last year was astounding to watch people in the store, Bob and I on the register. And Bob looked at me, and he really nailed it when he said, why? Why are they buying?
They were lining up.
Spending $300-400 on A's. I swear to God, this is not embellishing the story. Shorts with tax, $132.
Shorts?
Shorts, $132 out the door. Bob, we're out of 2 sizes. We need more. Crazy for that team.
Shorts.
Shorts.
I mean, they were nice. They were like,
they're not,
like the ones the players wear. They were, the long, short, heavy. They're duty. They were nice, but like you said, for that price, that's ludicrous.
I mean, if my people were there, the Goldbergs, they would have said, this is for the Goyim, for Christ's sake.
You always said, there are people like you, we'd starve.
Yeah, if they were like me, the vendors would all but starve to death. I wouldn't buy that crap for $130. What are you kidding me?
Wow, that's a hell of a price point for shorts.
Yeah.
That's a jersey price point.
Yeah, jerseys were what, 125?
125 plus tax.
tax.
Yeah. He's right. It is right in there with jerseys.
And we sold.
That's not all of them, but the good ones.
Yeah.
we don't sell jerseys with names anymore for obvious reasons.
I
The
can
last ones
imagine.
we sold were Chapman
Yeah.
and Olsen. Now we just sell the blanks.
Yeah, Chapman and Olsen were our biggest grossing
Yeah.
products previous to last year, and then they got rid of them. Then we had jerseys with no names.
That we used so jerseys with no names. That was kind of a popular thing not too long ago, and now it's kind of getting back to everybody having the name on there.
Right.
So
Right.
the A's are kind of left in a tough position, would seem.
Well, again, like I told you in my last interview, you can go to section 107, 105 to Karen and get a name put on any name you want. So, you know,
There-
a lot of
that's the
people
only
do
way.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way
That
to
is
do
the
it.
only way.
But then you also have to. There's the extra money for the customization, right?
Yeah, it's like $30,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
isn't too bad.
No, I mean then those numbers are expensive. Because I know because I used to have to buy them.
Right. Right.
But you know, like,
yeah.
at what point there has to be some kind of point where they say, let's change our strategy, or you know, let's get a Steph Curry and keep him around, keep one guy around, you know, like keep one person at least.
Yeah, I wish it was
Right.
that easy, but they won't pay that one person. So we're left with all these no-name players, you know,
Yeah.
AAA players that they
going-
bring, you know, and
Been going on for years.
so yeah, like you said many times, you know, you don't know any of the guys' names. It's a bunch of
I don't even know who
no-names.
plays on the team.
Yeah.
It's just a revolving door.
It it changes constantly. They're sending guys down. They're bringing them up. They're sending them down. They're bringing, you know, it's a constant revolving door, like you said.
I mean, I remember when they won, you know, the record for winning games in a row. And I mean, I went out there one game and
streak.
sat down for, you know, a short time at the end. Tejada got a hit, and the place, it was almost like there was silence, and the place just exploded. I mean, it was packed. And I remember when Giambi beat the Yankees with a 3-run homer, I think it was the bottom of the 8th. And I mean, the place just, you know, packed again, playing the Yankees. They were both good. And, you know, Giambi walked by our booth that day. And again, just like Ingerhausen, wearing blue jeans and a T-shirt. And I remember it well. Well, we're there. We're closing up. You know, we're over there, and he comes walking by, and he's on his cell phone. And for some reason, he looks at me. I'm looking at him going, oh, my God, fucking John. And I go, that was beautiful. He's on his phone. He goes, thanks. And I really dug that he didn't ignore me, and he put his phone down, and, you know.
That's some respect.
Yeah, it was one of those moments, those cool moments, you know, being a vendor at the ballpark where, you know, paid off a little bit.
Well, they know. I mean, they have to have seen you guys a bunch of times there. Like, if anybody else,
But
you
they
guys
don't-
are staples.
But they don't pay much, you know, attention to us. I mean, we used to see Eckersley and Canseco
Oh,
walk
yeah.
by a lot. Remember?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we'd see those guys.
God, how far back we go.
Yeah,
Yeah, Eckersley.
And McGuire. Oh, my God, what a team.
yeah.
Ricky Henderson. Oh,
But they haven't always. So obviously, they haven't always been like this, right? They've had these names. They've had Ricky Henderson. They've had Jason Giambi. They've had Jose Canseco. They've had these guys. And why not now? I mean, they were
well,
still
they
playing the
had,
same
they had
game
different.
back
They
then.
had different ownership.
Yeah, it was the different owners that would pay these players, and now this
Eight-
guy won't pay them.
89 was
So-
the Haas family.
Yeah,
I think the Haas family were very disenchanted when the Raiders moved back. I think that kind of bothered them. Because they changed the stadium and did all this, you know, jumping through hoops, so to speak, to get the stadium ready for the Raiders, and it took away from the baseball stadium.
Yeah, I remember
You know,
that. The
yeah,
whole
that
welcome
Mount
back
Davis.
silver and black. Yeah.
Yeah, Mount Davis, and you used to see Ice Plant and Oakland Hills, you know, and they would plant marigolds in the ice plant, which were marigolds were yellow, gold, and it was very, you know, it was much more attractive stadium, and that turned off the Haas family.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I could see that, right? Because it's a baseball stadium, and all of a sudden you're jumping over these hoops, you're bending over
Right.
backwards to get a football team
Right.
in that is, let's face it, subpar at best. And you know, I mean, the people don't spend the money. They're a little rowdy. I know this because during their last game at the Coliseum, they started ripping those seats out, and I got one. So I have to thank John for that because it's a bunch of seat pieces, but I got to put it together. It's kind of like a little, it's like an A seat that you'd buy from IKEA, where you just have to put it together.
Right.
But like, there's no like pride in the ownership. It's just money.
Right. That's all he's out for. And I've read numerous articles that say, watch out when he goes to Vegas. He'll pull the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I can imagine.
Say.
Because you're going down there, you're selling, you're doing the same thing that probably the Niners and the Raiders did at Levi's and their stadium in Las Vegas. You're selling all these corporate sponsorships, because that's what goes. You're maximizing your suite space, your box space. You're shitting on the common fans because why not? And it's Vegas, right? There's probably families down there, but not to the extent that there is here in the Bay,
Right.
And it seems like the wrong way for a baseball team out of all the other sports, wrong way for a baseball team to go.
Sure. Definitely.
Well, 81 games. I can see him not drawing down there. It's different for football. You're playing, the Chicago Bears. Hey, you live in Chicago. Hey, let's go out to Vegas, see the Bears play the Raiders. It's much easier to fill a stadium when you have 10 events.
Right.
Sure.
When you're as opposed to 81, and you have a team that's been non-competitive now for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
3 or 4 years. I mean, gosh, it has to be more than that, right? They weren't really competitive since, was it like 2013 or 14?
Could be. Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, we just remember the last few years since Fisher. How long has Fisher owned?
I don't know, but I think the last time we had a playoff team was when Jay was running it.
Right. Yeah, and that's been a while. It's been at least 10 years.
No, we had 1 year with Fanatics.
Because
I remember Brad saying, "Oh, the hats are coming, or something." Yeah.
did we have 1 year? Okay.
1 year with Fanatics where they were in the playoffs and got eliminated in the first game or something.
First round.
When it was one game and out.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I do remember that. So it's too bad. But the only time they're going to draw, I think, this year is on weekends when they have bobblehead giveaways and stuff like that.
Or when they play the Yankees.
When they play the Yankees, when they play the Giants.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. Some of the weeknights are going to be pretty slow again. 2,500, 3,000 maybe on a weeknight against Cleveland or whoever.
Yeah, during the week, slow over there, but we make it up on weekends and promotions. Like we were saying, people buy the shorts. Well, that's just a reflection of other things that are going on. They spend. We still, even nowadays, it's not Google or Apple money or working for Facebook, but it's still not bad.
All those companies are laying off people now.
They are, but
people are kind of scared to be in that industry a little bit right now. It's not what it once was.
Right. Yeah.
So, sports, people will always come to sports.
Oh, yeah.
Unless there's COVID again.
Yeah. Well,
then there's just a bunch of cardboard cutouts.
Well, yeah.
Sports, the greatest reality TV show.
It is. It really is.
It's sports.
It's
really amazing.
Is. There's always something happening. There's always some kind of drama.
Well, the world nowadays is not a great place. There's a plethora of problems. And sports is something that you can get away, and it's an escape. And, people have a passion for their teams. Like I said earlier, I was literally upset when the Niners lost. It was a tough one.
Yeah, I actually I have a friend, Alan, who was on the show not too long ago, and he worked with me at the Niners, and he went to the Super Bowl. So he had a bunch of people give him like $100, $150 to go, because he has a record of him going to the last 24 games for the Niners have been playing, and every single game he's been to, they've won. So people people were throwing $100 at him to go.
Wow.
And he went.
That's crazy.
And they lost anyway. And
He's done.
And
he ain't getting that $100 anymore.
Well, he was in a bad way for a couple days after that. I called
It was
him
a
to check
tough
in on him.
loss. It was tough.
I had to call to check in on him to make sure that he was okay.
Yeah.
And, because going there and doing that and being in there and seeing it firsthand, seeing them drop the ball and oh my God. And, I was here with my family watching, and of course my wife's a Raider fan, and my sister's boyfriend is a Raider fan. So
they were happy. They were happy, probably.
They were. One was barbecuing and one was watching kids.
Yeah.
So they weren't even really caring. But everybody else was here, and they're just, all right, we're gonna win this one. And then all of a sudden, it's overtime, and it ends. You think you're gonna win. 5 seconds later, game is over, and you lost. Mm-hmm. And it's just, it was such a terrible way for it to happen. It was good because everybody kind of got their money's worth for them going and seeing an overtime Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, it was a hell of a game.
Yeah.
We came out on the short end. What happens when you win as opposed to losing? I like to listen to KMBR then if they win. Mm-hmm. For a couple of days, I listen to Papa. I mean, they analyze the game. It's and I really enjoy it. I enjoy going out and getting the paper in the morning, reading the sports. Mm-hmm. They lose. I really don't want to read the sports. Yeah. I really don't want to watch, the recap after the ball game.
Yeah, if they win, you save that paper. You cut it out.
Yeah.
You save that paper.
Yeah.
If they lose, you leave that paper on the sidewalk.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Let it get wet and all mangled.
Who cares? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like the Chiefs are becoming the new Patriots, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, they got the man. I mean, Mahomes, there's no doubt about it. I mean, just marched him down the field. But there was also, this hasn't been, I'm sure they've talked about it, but it hasn't been well publicized. What's his name? Greenlaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The man that replaced him, I think his name is Owen Burks or something, which somebody like a fan like myself, we don't really see it. But apparently, and I'm not sure this is factual, they went to Owen, who replaced Greenlaw, the replacement. Andy Reid's no dummy, nor is Mahomes. Hey, Greenlaw's not in. Let's go there.
Yeah.
They went there 9 times.
Yeah.
They completed 9 passes.
9.
Mm-hmm. 9 for 9. They said the guy was not good.
Yeah.
Now Shanahan wouldn't say that because he doesn't want to throw an individual, or Lynch. They're not going to throw an individual under the bus.
Sure.
They didn't say it, but the man was not. Greenlaw getting hurt affected that game.
And Greenlaw getting hurt because he was so excited. Just because he was excited, because he's what seems like a pretty emotional player. Mm-hmm. He was in it. He was ready. He was dancing around, danced the wrong way, and danced himself into basically sitting on the bench for the rest of the game.
And he might miss all next year. Or at least part of it.
I mean, so obviously linebackers and O-line, something they need to spend some money on. Mm-hmm. But I mean, you've front loaded, or you've loaded all these contracts to where now you're going to owe a lot of people a lot of money now, and it's a tough spot to be in. You really hope that whoever they picked in the draft is going to stack up and stick around, because nobody's going to trade us for draft picks. Mm-mm. And it's a tough, sad day, but could be worse. We could be lifelong A's fans.
Yeah. I mean, personally, it's only reflected in the media. It's over and over. They reiterate it. It's a failure. I don't think it is. Mm-hmm. I think, the great team, tremendously entertaining, couldn't get over the final hurdle, but there was, 30 other teams sitting home where the Niners have been in, 2 Super Bowls, 2 NFC championship games. I just can't look at it as failure.
No, it's definitely not a failure. you're almost there.
Yeah,
you're just
that's
almost
true.
there. You,
And then which
it's not
hurts.
that much.
Which hurts, yeah.
And like another thing that people don't mention is oh, don't look at the screen, you guys. It's just terrible.
Sorry.
It's just going to depress you.
Oh, it's pathetic.
I'm going to have to get you another margarita if you keep staring at the screen.
Oh, you fucking get me some heroin. I keep on staring at this shit.
What I've been seeing is that the Chiefs have been called for a lot of offensive holding penalties
All
None.
season.
all season.
Yes, they were number 1.
None.
Yeah.
I think.
And all of a sudden they got their act together, I guess, for the Super Bowl. huh?
Zero.
Great
calls.
coaching must have been.
And there were film of
Another
at least-
interesting.
You know, and you could see they held Bosa.
Right.
There's no two ways about that.
Yeah, they
there
said
was-
5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
They were holding penalties that should have been
No
called.
shit.
And they got away with
Yeah,
it.
they looked at the
every
film
time.
and said it was at least 5 or 6 times where they held, not necessarily Bosa, but somebody.
Yeah.
you
Why
know,
the
got
hell didn't we
held.
hold Jones then?
I think we did. We got called for it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah, there's something wrong there where a team that's number 1 in holding penalties all season long doesn't get called one time. I
Yeah.
mean, there's something wrong with that pitcher.
Well, that's I in watching sports all my life, that's one thing that really frustrates me is the officiating. NBA is really hard to call.
Yeah.
So is the NFL. It's really difficult. I'm not saying it's an easy job.
Right.
But I mean, I think of these organizations that put so much into going, being successful, especially like that non-call pass interference against the New Orleans Saints by, I think it was the Vikings. Just blatant. The other night in basketball, the NBA, who was it? Detroit was going to beat, I think it was the Knicks. And I mean, the guy's
yeah.
going back, with the ball towards his goal, the Detroit player, his side, and the guy just literally runs into him. They grab the ball, they go down and score, the Knicks win. The ref sat there. I mean, it was a blatant foul.
Wow.
Blatant. I mean, this is the NBA. It's not football.
right.
And I find that unfortunate.
I mean,
know?
it really erodes a lot of the trust in the game, right, with the fans. And there's a
Yeah.
certain threshold that they're going to have to do something about that. There was a lot of You remember in the Niners and Lions game or maybe it was the Lions and somebody else where they were playing and it was like a non-call or what happened? It was in the playoffs this year where it was. Oh my God! What, Drew? Do you remember this? Where it was the Lions game this year and they. Oh, it was when they called him for an ineligible receiver. Remember, they called there was an offensive line guy.
That was against Dallas.
Dallas,
Yes,
that's right.
I remember.
And
Yeah.
they called him for being ineligible, but you can see him on camera going up and talking to him. What's he doing? He's not talking and saying, "Hey, it's nice weather we're having, huh?"
Yeah, how's the family?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
Hey, have you seen those $132 shorts the A's are selling? He didn't talk about that. You
Yeah,
know?
now I do remember that.
Well, that's where I
against
got
Dallas.
How's the Family
Yeah.
from vending. We got this guy who fills in, Dave Turner, good friend of Bob's and myself, and he's a retired teacher. Doesn't vend all the time anymore. He's how old is Dave? 78.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. But he's a fill-in. Well, whenever he works with me, he starts. He loves to talk with the fans. He does good. He takes in money. He's not bad for a fill-in. So I always go, Dave, what'd you ask him? How's the family? For Christ's sake, wait on somebody else.
He's not as bad as the old partner you had, though. Bill.
Bill who?
I don't think you knew him. Bill Graff.
Oh, I know Bill Graff. He was a
yeah.
teacher.
Yeah, he was
Retired.
Retired teacher. Yeah.
Yeah, he was tough. He was
had a lot
Jake's
to say.
partner for a while.
Oh, he had a lot to say. I don't know if he had a lot to say. He had a lot to talk. It wasn't much to say.
He was. I remember he was up in like those little satellite things that we had
Upstairs.
upstairs.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Good recall. That's where he
Yeah.
was in Oakland.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, at Giants, he was my partner. So
He was in the best location. And, the busy stand. And, Jake would have to do 90% of the work because Bill just was busy talking to somebody. It's crazy.
Didn't they have, weren't they going to have some kind of stand or something next to that treehouse area that they built with the A's?
Oh, in the outfield there, they did have a stand out there for a while and didn't do much.
Because they put a big tree in there, right? And it was, but what I noticed in that tree, back when I was working there, and they had all the real wood benches and stuff, was that there's bark beetles that live in those.
Really?
Yeah, there's bugs that live in that, and
nice.
Not little ones. And I don't care for bugs.
No.
And Drew knows this. I don't care for especially bugs that fly. Because you see, there you go. But you already are dealing with all the moths that fly around and everything like that. And now you're sitting down and you got a creepy crawly on your, it's just, no.
Bad. Not good.
I'm okay with, getting tetanus or getting, maybe a hot dog that sat out for a while. But a bug, I can't do that, And I remember at one time at Levi's we had motocross or supercross where they bring in all the dirt and they have the motorcycles go up.
Yeah, we worked those before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've worked those. And absolutely.
Well, the stadium was clean before that, right? It was brand new. And as soon as these guys get there, all of a sudden we have an infestation of moths, right? And they just hatch one night. And it's insane. And I was driving the golf cart and I'm getting pelted in my face with these moths.
Not enjoying that.
You make sure you close your mouth, And if you could close your nostrils, you would. But, I mean, he's just pelting you in the face and, taking a moth at 15 miles an hour.
That's not good.
Yeah.
No.
And it's
wow.
But yeah, the bugs.
Yep.
And so I went in that treehouse, and I was glad that we never had to set up a stand in there. But I knew that they were planning on it.
Well, they did for a while.
Okay.
It did for a while.
Yeah, the treehouse. Yeah, it was open a little bit.
Yeah, Karen actually worked out there for a little while, and then they eventually closed it because it wasn't taking any money.
No, there's nobody.
The same thing with the Stomper Zone on the other side in right field.
Well,
they tried putting a stand out there, and it didn't do any money. So
that's another one I referred to earlier that we forgot about.
What's that?
The guy used to get the suites once a year. He had season tickets. He'd rent the suites from San Jose, and I'd go up there and get a burger and bring you guys food.
Right.
Haven't seen him in years.
Yeah. They go away. We know quite a few that have passed away.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, Don, right?
That's, Don.
That's a vendor. We're talking, and the fans. And the fans.
Oh, the fans too,
fans have passed away.
Both.
Yeah, I mean, when you guys have been there for as long as you have.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I've worked in sports a fraction of the time that you guys have.
Right.
And I've seen people pass away more than I have at any other job, at any other place I've worked. And it's just.
Well, you know a lot of people too. There's so many people that you meet.
And you get close with them.
And
it's the nature of the beast where you just, there's no helping it. You get close to these people because you see them all the time.
You're with them for a lot of hours.
You're stuck there for hours. And, it's an unfortunate reality of the business.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. The latest being Jay.
Jay,
Good friend Jay. Yeah. I don't know if you knew Jay. He came out when Fanatics first took over and helped us for a while. He worked at SAP. He ran the Sharks.
Yeah, he came back he worked for Airmark for a little while.
I can't picture him, but I remember the name, Jay. I remember dealing with somebody from Fanatics.
Right.
Briefly at Oakland.
We first started
worked Niners, I think.
Yeah. That's him.
He died?
Yeah.
You're saying?
47. Heart attack.
47.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah.
47. And like the thing is, like, he didn't have any. He had a daughter.
Oh, yeah, he had a daughter.
Yeah, she had just turned 18. But it was like, and he was like the dad, right? She was the one that he lived with, right? And it was
got divorced, and she was close to dad. Didn't go to mommy.
Right.
Heavy.
Yeah,
and he dies.
Yeah, and it's just I talked to him the day before that. And I was like,
God.
"Hey, I'm down in because my mother-in-law lives in Redwood City, and so I was like, we went down there for some reason, I forget, but I went down there. I was like, hey, you want to meet up, get some beers? I'm leaving Sunday, and he was like, sure. Then next day,
never saw him.
Never
had a chance to see him.
Yeah, I was like, hey, another friend texted me, and she was like, hey, what happened to Jay? I was like, nothing. So I texted him. I was like, hey, are you okay? Never heard back. And then it's like, texted his sister. And was like, oh, yeah, he passed away last night. Heart attack.
Wow.
And no history of any medical problems.
Oh,
no
my
nothing.
God.
Unbelievable.
Wow.
And you just never know.
No.
That's one of the reasons that really kicked me into gear of starting this, is because we're not going to be around for forever.
Right.
And when you go, the stories go with you. This is a way for you guys to immortalize yourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I'll help out a couple guys that have passed and immortalize them. They were not the nicest of people, nor were they educated, but they were in the right place at the right time. That would be Paul Soroff, who ran our union, but had the spot, so to speak, at the Cow Palace. Well, when you have a regular manager like John Handy for a company like Fanatics or Aramark, whoever it may be, you're on a salary. Well, Paul was on a commission. And he was dealing in cash. And here was a man who was highly dishonest. And he made a hell of a lot of money. Uneducated. In fact, you could say downright stupid in a lot of ways. But you put a man like that in power, where the people who work for him are doing very well, he abuses that power.
He went to
We'd have a rock show. Gates would open at 5 o'clock. Show would start at 7, say. We would be there at 10 in the morning. By the time we were done, it would be 2, 3 in the morning, exhausted. But you put up with it.
Yeah.
Bill Fritz also. Bill became Bill Graham's right-hand man in concessions for shirts. I mean, there was another guy named Del Ferrano and stuff who started Wonderland t-shirts, but he was their man for controlling these shows. He would make, at a day on the green, at least as when I had a cocktail with him and asked a stupid question, which I thought he would kill me, but he answered. He says, you see that Cadillac out there? Yeah. He says, I make that one day. Like a day on the green.
That's a flex.
Yeah.
Uneducated man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it's huge. The business
Huge.
was
The
huge.
shirts.
You're doing 100,000 a night at the Cow Palace.
Yeah.
On a night, Prince. We talked
Yeah.
about that earlier.
At a place that
100
that you can't get that shit smell out of it.
Right.
But people still come.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and there's
And they still have the appetite for hot dogs. Mm-hmm.
And there were a lot of concerts back then. Sometimes 2-3 nights a week. Sometimes.
We had a couple winners, which were very busy, yes. But
Yeah.
it was never consistent. Baseball is your most consistent.
Sure.
Right.
That's kind of
Concerts are kind of spread out.
yeah. Baseball is your probably your biggest moneymaker, but daily it's the smallest as far as average.
Right.
Except when I used to work the Warriors on retail. I used to sell beer there as well, but then I got on retail later on.
Well, Jordan was the main one, I guess. Yeah.
When Michael came in, you sold out.
Oh, you had
sold
some-
out
you
of
had a lot of
all the
Chicago,
whatever we
yeah.
got in Michael.
Yeah.
That
You had a-
Sweeney got or whoever was running it.
Right. You had a lot of bull stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of bullshit.
Hey, I gotta pee real quick. I'll be right back. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves, or we can
We'll
come
take
back.
a break.
All right, so we're back.
We're back.
I wanted to ask you guys about the day on the green, or days on the green, or however you might pluralize it. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people who I know don't really, they weren't around for it, So let's explore that. What was that like? And kind of explain what the days on the green were.
Basically, it was a huge concert with 5-6 different bands. The thing went all day. It would start early in the afternoon and go till 8, 9 o'clock at night or something. And it was big. You know, we'd have shirts from, I didn't work a whole lot because the Giants were always home on a day on the green because the A's obviously were on the road. So I didn't work a lot, but I still remember just being, you know, a big, huge stand with a lot of different shirts from all the different groups that were playing. And they were big name groups, you know, the Rolling Stones, U2. You know, they were big name groups. So the place would be packed.
Yeah, I probably
and the field would be packed. You had people on the field, and, you know, it was...
We had a stand down there.
Yeah.
Scott, Steve, and Harry.
Okay, yeah. So it was big. I mean, it was a long day, but you know, you made good money, and you were very, very busy the whole time, and just a lot of people, and
I was with my future wife. I was living with her at the time, a relatively new relationship, and I happened to be of the Jewish faith, and my wife was also, and my future father-in-law and his wife were over my father-in-law and mother-in-law. And ironically, he was a Jewish milkman, but he did well. He was, at the time, he was a millionaire. Liked to smoke his cigars, and he's over for Sunday night dinner after I had gotten done working a day on the green. And he goes, Doreen, that's his daughter, my girlfriend at the time, he says, Doreen says you got up at 5 a.m. to go sell T-shirts. Mm-hmm. You make any money doing that? No. Well, he got paid in cash. Well, I went into the room like a little shit, and I got the money, and I put it on the table like, is that any money? And from that point on, if I could have married him, I'd still be married, for Christ's sake. We got along really well.
Yeah, I bet.
So, yeah. That was an epic. And then we'd come back to Giants, all the guys who worked there, and we would be on beer the next day. We'd always get 200.
Yeah.
Paul would be there. Paul
punished.
Saroff, who ran the union, but he had the spot at the Cow Palace. So he had the same thing on a smaller scale. Okay? Well, but he didn't handle that show, Day on the Green. So to assert his power, you're selling beer out of 200. That was a bad location.
Oh.
So you get 1 day's punishment for not covering at Giants.
You probably remember that room. You had to walk all the way through it and then get to the corridor and out the door, and it was a long walk.
Is that Candlestick or
Candlestick? Yeah, 200 where you did the money.
200 is the main checkout.
Wow, there's nothing there.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Isn't that right behind where if you sit there, you're like sitting right behind a pillar?
Yeah.
Well,
some of the seats were right behind the
you're
pillar.
down right field.
It's all the way down the right field line.
Usually there's nobody there. So you got to walk 15 minutes just to get to people to sell your beer.
That was the area where it was right next to where they had that temporary seating that came out, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And when that temporary seating came out, you had a shitty view.
Right. Well, that was only during football. When it came out. Baseball, it was back.
Oh, true. Yeah, I only was there during football. I wasn't there because by the time I had worked in sports, the Giants were already at AT&T.
Okay, right. Yeah, I don't know if you sat there during football. Yeah, you couldn't see but they didn't sell those tickets as far as I know.
Yeah, because there was barely anybody ever seating there. And when there were people sitting there, you could tell they were there to just light something up, or it's kind of like turn and have your privacy.
Yeah. They didn't sell those seats, so you'd see those empty seats on TV, and you think, wow, they said the game's sold out, but look at all these empty seats. Well, they're empty for a reason.
Yeah, you can only see the 20-yard line to the end zone.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I remember at Candlestick. Something that people don't remember is how narrow it was. Like getting places, getting food and walking through.
Oh, the corridors.
Yeah. Oh my God.
The corridors, they were brutal.
That's the biggest, that's one of the vast differences with newer stadiums nowadays. They're very cognizant of that.
Yeah.
They try to make the corridors as wide as they can.
Yeah.
And then the one complaint they have with Oracle, and Larry Bear and what was his name, the guy from Safeway who passed away.
McGowan?
What's that?
You got McGowan?
Yeah, McGowan. They said the one negative about the location is we didn't quite have the room that we wanted. You know, they would have given us permanent stands right away. They would have had wider corridors.
Sure.
So they just didn't have the space in that location.
The Candlestick was, like you said, very narrow.
It was, and like, if you didn't have claustrophobia when you went in there, you had it coming out.
Definitely.
You know, and just trying to get like, because I remember I had to go like get burgers for people in the cash room. You know, I was new there, so they sent me to go do it, and it's like, I'll be right back. No, you won't be.
Yeah.
You know?
An hour later.
Yeah, an hour later. Here's your cold burger.
Yeah.
Oh, you wanted mustard? I'll go get it. Give me another hour.
That's where I always had to go with Paul. Come on, Bob, let's go get a burger.
Oh, yeah. He would do that with me in Oakland.
Oh.
Let's go get a sausage at the sausage stand. It would drive Rick Brandt crazy.
Yeah.
But
he was a character. You never knew him, but he was, may he rest in peace. He was something else. It's like he was like a Hitler almost, you know. And he was
like a mafia boss.
Yeah, and you had to do what he said, and he was just
drove a Cadillac,
stories.
had the big cigar. You ran the union, and
now were there horns on the front of the Cadillac?
No,
no.
Okay. Well, that's the next level.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he hadn't gotten those yet, but Jake can probably tell you some stories about him if he wants, but. Yeah, there were some stories working for him.
He was a trip. He was just on this power trip, but he had you by the gazoonies because you made a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, and we all prostituted ourselves, so to speak. And I wasn't the only one, you know. I mean, when you're making $1,000 in 1980, 1970s,
that's killer
cash.
Money. Yeah.
You know, you'd have to go to his house to get paid. And you have the money in an envelope.
You had to go.
And we would say,
paid.
"Boy, I hope it's not over there for 3 days. He'll just keep on taking out of each envelope." And so he paid us more than he did the others, and nobody knows what he paid himself.
Yeah,
it was an arbitrary number.
Yeah, with cash, you can do anything you want.
Yeah.
Cash is fungible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was quite a racket, and he was became very wealthy. He was, multimillionaire. And the other guy who we referred to earlier, Bill Fritz, who ran for Bill Graham, his concessions, Day on the Green, any show in the arena that was BGP, Bill Graham Presents, as the promoter, he ran those.
You got it.
And they were all, Paul and him, were on a percentage of the action. So when you did well, they wanted you to work because you took in more money for them, and they were getting a percentage of that.
Sure, you're their cash cow.
And Graham didn't care. You know, I mean, he didn't like Paul. He thought Paul went up to him one night and said, at the Cow Palace, it was quite a scene to see this guy. He's real heavy set. You know, an old union guy who drives a Cadillac, if you can get the picture.
Oh, I got it, yeah.
Yeah. And he goes up to Graham and he says, "You should thank our guys. They're all taking a cut and pay to give to your charity." Graham looked at him and said, "Get out of my face, you're a fucking pig."
Wow.
Paul looked as skinny as me.
Yeah.
But it's hard to actually verbalize what he was like. Mm-hmm. But he was brutal.
Yeah.
A larger than life gentleman.
Yes. Even like you referred earlier to the different groups that started coming in with different promotion people that were handling their shirts. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, we say, where are you going next? Oh shit, we got to drive to Wyoming. We got to pack up the truck with the shirts you guys didn't sell. We got to order some. Oh yeah, what do you think of Saroff? He goes, well, when we're driving to Wyoming, Jake, we're talking about Saroff.
He was known around the country.
Yeah.
Really?
As probably the meanest, toughest guy to work with.
Infamous.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, he was tough. He was very tough. And you had to be at your best behavior. I mean, you were afraid to go to the bathroom. You were afraid to pull a sandwich out and eat. It's almost
Jeez.
like you had to ask him.
It's kind of like
for
Amazon.
permission.
It's like an Amazon warehouse worker. You got to have a bottle handy.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
we'd be there at 10
It
in the
was
morning
brutal.
setting up the shirt stands.
Really?
Everybody's yakking, going, "Hey, Monty and the plumbers," or whatever it was.
Well, even
Hey,
mechanics.
yeah, let's get this. Okay. And the door would open. Sarf would come in.
Dead silence.
We had a guy named Dennis. He's actually ended up pretty rich himself. But years ago, he was my partner. We'd go over together, commute. He lived in the East Bay as well as I did. He was a nervous wreck. He was just totally intimidated by Paul, whereas I personally, I was intimidated, yes, but to a lesser extent. Mm-hmm. I for some reason, knew how to connect with Paul. One day, Dennis goes up to him. We're setting up a display. We got a lot of shirts. Dennis goes, Paul, I was thinking, I got an idea. He goes, Dennis, it's like 11 in the morning. And he goes, Dennis, don't think. You think too much.
Think too much.
You're bothering me. Go sit in the arena.
The arena's dark. It's
Dennis-
11 in the morning.
Dennis
no
is
lights.
looking at him. He goes, go sit in the arena. Dennis is out there in the dark. What the hell time did you work that show? Do you remember?
I did. Yeah, he was out there for hours.
Hours.
Yeah.
Said somebody go get Dennis like 4 o'clock or something.
It was like
Sat there.
You're just having Sydney in a dark arena for 3 hours?
Yeah.
3-4 hours. No cell
That's
phones
incredible.
then.
Yeah.
There were no cell phones, so he couldn't,
You're just there alone with
you're
your thoughts.
just sitting there. Yes. That was his punishment for trying to tell Paul what to do.
He had an
for
idea.
having a suggestion.
Don't think.
Yes. You don't tell Paul what to do. He learned that real quick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Yeah, no, you didn't know. And he liked Jake. Jake was kind of like his boy. He, like you said, you got along good with him. So I don't think I ever heard him yell at you. I don't.
Oh,
remember.
we had one night where they were upstairs, and the guys who were bringing in the shirts came up to me, and he said,
"Do you need anything?"
Says, "You need anything?" I go, "Yeah, we're low on 401 black short sleeve." Okay, I don't remember specifically. Okay,
Sure.
but and he goes, "Okay, I'll go get those for you from the truck." They come in. Paul comes down after they go after. This was after the come in. They're up there counting the money. Paul comes down and he says, "What's going on? Where we get those?" I said, "Oh, I told the guy we were out of them, and he brought them in." Okay.
Wrong.
Okay. Go over the next night. It just so happens we have another show coming up, another 2-day show, I believe it was. Go in, he's giving out the envelopes. See you on Thursday. See you on Thursday. Comes to me and Dennis, the guy who just referred to, who said, sit in the cow house. Not a word. Get out to the car. Dennis goes, "Did he ask you to work?" I go, "No. I work every show. I work in the busiest booth." So my wife tells me, "Call him. You got to talk, Jake. You're freaking out."
Sure.
I mean, I'm missing out on a double show. Called him the next morning and go, "Paul, what's up? Why am I out?" He goes, "Don't you ever order merchandise. I do that. You're not the boss, Mr. Jacobs. Paul Saroff's the boss."
He referred to himself in the third person? Referred to himself as Paul?
He might have.
Yeah.
Whatever
Sounds like he might
whatever
have.
way you want the story to go.
Yeah, I wanted to go that way.
But like I said, you didn't do anything.
Yeah, that was it. I said, "I'm sorry, I didn't realize that." I thought, I said, "It won't happen again." He says, "You call your buddy. Be over here at 10 o'clock.
Oh, so you did.
We
yeah.
worked.
It was
we
a
worked.
good thing he called. Good thing he
And
called.
it actually got to the point where my buddy,
Dennis?
Dennis. I was partners with him at Your Dog, Stanford.
Oh,
We ran the concession. We ran the programs. Hardly ever had an argument. He's very good, and he was a great partner. I had to start lying to him about the amount of money I was making at the Cow Palace.
Ooh.
Because I was
was
making,
so different.
he paid me extra.
Oh, nice.
Because, like Bob said, there was a time when the A's were at home. And I think it was Van Halen. We had 3 nights. See you at 10 o'clock. Jake, you work the A's, but you come over here right afterwards. Don't hang around over there.
Well, I mean, you butter him up. You can.
I didn't butter him up as much as you think. We just, what I
got
could do with
along.
Paul? I could anticipate his moves.
Oh, okay.
I understood how to deal with Paul. There was a show where we had a lot of merchandise. I think it was sticks, and they were putting shirts away on the other side. We had these side rooms, where we put the dog show programs and things.
Yeah.
And I'm watching them, and they're putting them in, and he goes, "Okay, what do we got?" So there's this guy named Bob Verducci. He's in our room on our side. We had just put ours away. I go, "Bob, what do we got in there?" He goes, "What for? What for? We're not using these now." I go, "Bob, just tell me what we got."
Right.
All right. And he goes, "Jake, what do you got over there?" I go, 104s, we got 24 dozen. 102 short sleeve, we got... Okay, beautiful. I look at Verducci, he winks at me and goes, "You fucking knew." I knew he was going to ask, So with him, I could anticipate. With the other guy, Fritz, could not.
You can't.
Oh, too
Totally
unpredictable.
different. Totally different. When you work for Fritz, you didn't get there at 10 in the morning.
Right.
Much more reasonable.
So you might say you were able to play him like a fiddle.
Paul? No. No, I wouldn't say that. But I did.
Just he anticipated his moves, and he liked
More-
that.
more
All
so-
like that.
Yeah, more so than others. Put it that
Right.
way.
When you had the answer for those T-shirts, he really dug that. He liked that. So that's why he worked every show.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was something. That was, yeah. How about the story about the mopping the floor and...
Oh, let's hear it.
Oh my God! Now that you bring them up,
Yeah, Richie, you got to tell him the story about
oh
Rich.
my God!
We got some good ones.
Let's hear it. Lay him on me.
Oh, Tom Malfatti, go ahead. Tom Malfatti was the worst at that when he started working for him. Mopping the floor. He went over
mopping
to
the
his house
floor.
and mowed his lawn.
Right. Yeah, this guy
What?
went to his house and mowed his lawn for him. He was really gets his ass. Definitely, yeah. And it worked. It paid off because he worked a lot of shows.
We
That's
literally
what you
got
had to
there
do.
at 10 in the morning. We're not exaggerating. The show's a night show. It's
8
absurd.
o'clock.
All your vendors they're exhausted.
Yeah.
Now I don't want to keep on reiterating, but sometimes we get there at 10 in the morning. Paul goes, "This floor is really looking dirty. Let's go get some mops and clean it." I'll fucking go down. We get these great big buckets that are on wheels and mops, and we're mopping the floor at the Cow Palace. Security's coming in. People are coming in. They're looking at us like, "What the fuck? These guys are selling shirts. Are they cleanup crew?" And, he was a heavy-set guy, and he's just sitting there. The power.
Just
You
like
wanted
a
the floor clean because when the shirts came in, we had to lay them all. You had hundreds of dozens of T-shirts, and there was no other place to put them except on the floor.
oh,
So
well, that
that's
makes
why
sense.
he wanted that floor clean.
Because that
right?
floor is all kinds of animal shit all over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. You got
this is when the Grand National's not going on all year.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah.
only part of it, a
It's only,
10-day show in those
October,
days.
October.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was a 10,
Yeah.
10 days in those days, not
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, because you go over there now, and even if there's no show, it smells like the Grand National.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not so much.
Not so much anymore?
Yeah, no. It'll smell for a couple of weeks after, but like now, this is March. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I was there, when the Bulls were there.
Right.
And,
The Bulls, hockey,
yeah.
minor
And-
league.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it smelled like there was still Bulls there.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, again,
good.
their season went October, November, December, So the Grand National was in October, so the Bulls probably were just there.
Yeah, that's probably true too. Yeah.
Yeah, it was close.
Now, actually, the Sharks was the last of our 20% shows.
Oh, when they were at the Cow Palace?
For those 2 years, and it was quite good.
Yeah. Well, Bob
I
said,
told you about that.
Well, Bob was basically the woman who ran it. He was her assistant.
Yeah.
Bob and Debbie and Bob ran it, basically.
Yeah, I remember going to a couple of those, and it was, it was a nice. You could go to a sporting event where there was no crowds. Mm-hmm. That was the big selling point for me because I lived in East Oakland at the time, and you just go across.
You're talking about the Bulls?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to go see the Bulls. I mean, when the Sharks were there, it was probably similar, but it was probably way more crowded.
Oh, it was sold out every night.
Yeah.
They were sold out pretty much every night, I think.
It's a small venue, considering.
Plus, their jersey choice, their color.
The teal.
And their mascot was just, really, they sold. Mm-hmm. Did well.
Yeah. And the Bulls, like I told you the last podcast I did, the Bulls merchandise was fantastic.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there was nobody there to sell it to. First year was good. We did good the first year because the NHL was on strike for that period, and then a lot of people from San Jose came up because they had to have their hockey fix.
Sure.
So that helped us. But then the second year, they thought it was going to be bigger than the first, and they bought all this merchandise, and they got stuck.
It was kind of their perspective on the business. The people who worked the Sharks, and this is only I'm secondhand from talking to Bob. Like they ordered more blankets for the second year than the first. Well, what type of mentality is that? I mean, if they were the fans, I'd say, boy, these people are real Lulus. Would you go to Harvard? I mean, they, just really misordered. And, of course, they went belly up mid-season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you'll have fans at the ball games individually as opposed to this group that worked for the Sharks or the Bulls. But you'd have fans at the game. They'll tell you, oh, you don't care? You should carry those. You'd make a fortune. I had one lady, she says, you got any ball markers? I go, ball markers? What do you mean, for golf? She goes, yeah, you got any? I go, no, we don't have any of those. She looks at her husband and goes, boy, that must be a big seller. They're all out of them.
We sell them at A's, and we sell a dozen for the whole year. Maybe.
Yeah, be lucky.
Yeah, I remember when they brought them in, I was like, what the hell is, because I don't play golf. I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah, we got balls, markers, tees, towels.
Got them again.
Got them again.
Yeah, we got them again. I put them away.
What do you guys, what are you going to do when the A's move out? Because there's not going to be anything, no sports there at that whole
We'll work one
area.
ballpark.
Just Giants?
Yeah, we'll just work Giants, I guess. Yeah. No choice. We've been wanting to cut. Well, he's been wanting to cut down for years. Well, the decision will be made for him if that happens. And all of us will be down to one ballpark.
Yeah, I don't enjoy it much anymore.
Yeah.
I had a great run.
No, yeah, I mean
I had a ball. I did well. I'm financially comfortable, and I don't enjoy it anymore. Now it's going to work, and like Bob knows, Bob's got tremendous patience. Mm-hmm. At the end of the night, I'll do this, I'll do that. He's getting ready for the next day. I go, you need me for anything? I'm out of here. I can't wait to get in my car.
Can't wait to leave.
And go home. Yeah. And I enjoy the A's much more than I do the Giants. The Giants, I literally do not want to work.
It's so different.
And I don't have to financially anymore, but I feel a lot of pressure from my partner.
Yeah.
He takes it personally. He said, oh, Oakland, you got to commute every day on your own. With me, it's only every other day. I hate that fucking commute to San Francisco.
Yeah.
And we have handicap. We got to look for parking. It's really hard to find parking. We find it, but then we got to walk in. Mm-hmm. It's windy as hell. It's cold as hell most of the time. You walk through that wind. Your car's here. Your stand's here. You walk all the way down here to get into the stadium. The warehouse is here. Mm-hmm. You go all the way down to the warehouse. You check in. You go all the way back. I go, Jesus Christ, I've already put in, 2.5 miles. I'm 75 years old. I'm going to be walking enough tonight.
Yeah, and I mean that traffic out there, no matter what time you leave, no matter what time you get there, it's just terrible.
Well, especially on day games, it's the worst.
Yeah.
Coming over there at 8:00 in the morning or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Midweek day game.
Yeah.
Oakland, we drive right in.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
yeah. It's just I just enjoy Oakland.
Drive right in afterwards.
And I
everybody
have
goes
for
and has a beer.
years. And I think Bob has as well. Mm-hmm. And he's more of a Giants fan than he is an A's fan. I'm actually prefer the A's if they were playing each other.
Same here.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they leave there, it's going to be such a waste, and that area is just going to go completely to shit because you have your own BART station there, and it seems like a pain, or it seems like a shame to waste it.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about playing soccer there.
Come on,
I
Bob.
don't know. Soccer's on the rise. It's not bad. I don't particularly like it because I never played it.
Yeah.
Soccer was never a big sport, when we were growing up. It was baseball, basketball, and football.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mom made me play soccer. So,
Oh, really? You didn't like it?
No.
No.
I didn't really like any sports.
No?
I liked playing football for the 1 year that I was playing, but I played center, and obviously I'm not you look at me, you don't
big guy.
see offensive linemen, right?
Right.
So,
Tough
I go, what the hell am I doing out here getting this shit kicked out of me? For what? So I can get a letter?
just because I wanted the ball. I wanted to always have the ball.
Yeah, well, you got it.
Yeah, and that was it. But it's like I was young, like 12 or 13. I didn't play in high school.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah, it was like a pee-wee thing. And
Kind of a PAL type deal or something.
yeah, it
back
was
then.
before everybody could get really hurt, before the kids
Right.
were really fast or really big.
Yeah.
And, of course, you
Now
see
it's-
some kids on the team where they're like 6'2" and have facial hair, and even at 12,
Yeah,
but
wow. Yeah, that's a tough sport. Dangerous.
Oh,
Yeah.
it sure is.
Brutal. A lot of guys get hurt.
yeah, my oldest daughter wants to play
Really?
football. Yeah. And I'm
I
like,
wouldn't recommend that.
well, I mean, you could be a kicker.
Yeah. That's true.
Take Jake Moody's
Absolutely.
spot.
Yeah. That's somewhat safe.
Yeah, but I mean, other than that, we get her in acting and things like that, and
Yeah.
she's into that, so it's
Safer.
yeah, it's a lot safer, right?
Yeah,
But
definitely.
yeah, you guys, good seeing you again.
Yeah, good seeing you.
seeing
Feel like it's been forever seeing you guys.
Yeah, it's
And
good seeing
like,
you.
Maybe we'll see you out at the park.
Oh, I'll be there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to make a trip
to
out
some
there with
games.
at least one of my daughters, the one that likes me. The 2-year-old doesn't care for me very much, but maybe she'll come around.
Not yet.
She'll come around.
Yeah, if I feed her a bunch of brownies and ice cream, I can buy like an hour or two where she's good to me. So we'll see.
That's funny.
Well, I have two
not really, but-
grandkids that are similar age, 7 and like 16 months.
Yeah, it's
Just
a hell of a spread.
took them down to Disneyland. Well, everybody went. The parents went too. So.
Yeah. Well, when you go to Disneyland, you got to bring the grandparents so that the parents can have like a minute.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not a vacation for anyone.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Parents
Lot of-
can watch the kids.
A lot of walking.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I told you to get that cart or that wheel.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right, but I just couldn't go back at night.
Yeah. Oh, that's
yeah.
true.
Ariana and Elisa went, but even the kids were tired. They didn't want to go back.
Yeah, I got one of those electric carts.
Harley Davidson.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't go that far. Didn't go quite that fast, but
Doreen had one the first
it
day.
worked. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was because there was a lot of walking in Disneyland, and my age, I'm getting old. I don't walk that well anymore. So, anyway,
All right, guys.
all right.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes.